So what does it take to win it all? Grit and grace, focus and finesse, power, precision, mindfulness, and maybe a little magic. We've come to the end of a challenging season. 6 superb teams are left standing. They have all displayed the characteristic of champions. They are all deserving of a shot at the title. Yet today, only one team will stand atop the podium. Is perfection even possible? Maybe it is.
The NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championships, presented by Northwestern Mutual. Welcome inside the Chaffetz Arena on the campus of St. Louis University for our live coverage of the 2017 Women's NCAA Gymnastics Championships. It's the final night of the season, and it all comes down to this. Here are the Super 6 teams who have made it to this session: Oklahoma, UCLA, Utah, LSU, Florida, and Alabama. Hi, everybody. I'm Bart Connor, along with my fellow Olympic medalist, Kathy Johnson-Clark. And I'm so excited about tonight because what we had hoped for is the top 6 teams in the country all going head-to-head, and that's what we have.
And, Bart, it is an extraordinary task just to get here, to be on the floor at the Super 6 finals after an extremely long season and a fierce battle in both semifinals. Just seeing the energy, though, in the arena for these warm-ups, I know it's going to be something special.
Now, there's 6 great teams, but in honesty, the dream matchup we've been looking forward to is Oklahoma, number 1, and number 2, LSU on the floor at the same time, and it's happening tonight.
You are right. From meet 1, we have just waited for this head-to-head battle. Oklahoma has committed their entire season to winning a 3rd national title. They are defined by perfection, precision, and consistency, and they are led by incredible senior leadership. Chase Capps, who is really the rock-solid competitor of this team, the very, very core of this team. And add to that, sensational freshman Maggie Nichols. She has wowed audiences throughout her entire, very short, but will be a wonderful career at Oklahoma. They hope to bring a 3rd national title. LSU, I've never seen a hungrier and more prepared team to go after a national title. Look at this, freshman Kennedy Edney won the national title on the vault in the semifinals. And the heart and soul of this team, Ashley Matt. They bring so much fire, passion, and desire to finally take home a national championship. It's going to be great.
But the other 4 teams in this session are incredible because these 4 teams, Florida, UCLA, Utah, and Alabama, have won a combined 25 national championships among them.
It's going to be amazing. All of these teams are packed with such amazing gymnasts from the first in the lineup to the last, but they do have their leaders. Alex McMurtry led Florida into these finals, and she won the all-around championship last night. Kyla Ross for UCLA, co-champion on both beam and bars, and Michaela Skinner, she's going to wow us with incredible difficulty.
So we're set for the culmination of the season, but for many of these senior student athletes, this is also the culmination of their careers. For more, let's go to Laura Rutledge.
Yeah, Bart, it's hard to imagine some of these teams without their fantastic seniors, but for Ashley Matt of LSU and Chase Capps of Oklahoma, tonight will feature their final nights of competition. Chase Capps told me she's trying not to think about it because she wants to make sure she's focused on the task at hand, which is winning a 3rd national championship. And for Ashley Matt, she said she's at peace that her career will come to a close tonight on this stage with her favorite people. She drew her team in before this competition and said, I'm so glad I'm on this team because I wouldn't want to be here with anyone else. She plans to savor every single moment and soak it all in, Bart.
Thank you, Laura Rutledge. We're looking forward to an exciting and at a very emotional tonight here tonight in St. Louis. Competition begins when we come back. Here in St. Louis, but first take a look at some of the great champion teams who have come before. Oklahoma is the reigning NCAA champion. They're hoping to repeat and win their 3rd title overall, but the finest in women's collegiate gymnastics all on the floor tonight. And as you can see here by our quad box and all-around channel, you'll be able to see all the action tonight as we'll cover the 4 events going simultaneously through this competition. Opening up on the vault is UCLA. Alabama starts on the bars, Florida on the beam, and Utah on the floor.
Kennedy Baker for Florida is on the balance beam so far, moving so smoothly, very confidently, and a great finish for Alabama on the bars with Mackenzie Brannon.
Macy Roberts for Utah on floor in your bottom right, and Angie Cipra from UCLA set to lead it off for the Bruins on vault.
Good start for UCLA, a hop forward on that vault. These sticks are going to count. Every single landing will be important.
Quick reminder on the rules here in the Super 6 final. There are 6 athletes on each team on each event. Just the top 5 scores count towards their team total, so you can drop a low score. There are 6 rotations, yet only 4 apparatus. So 2 teams are on a bye in each rotation. You'll notice on your scoring bug there, Oklahoma and LSU on byes in this first rotation.
Macy Roberts starting Utah off very strongly on the floor exercise.
Utah was the runner-up in 2015 in the NCAA championships. Disappointed last year because of a balance beam breakdown, did not make it through to the Super 6 final. Here's what it looks like if you're sitting in the arena. 4 events going on simultaneously. It's a sold-out crowd here at the Chaifetz Arena in St. Louis. Shea Mahoney, the freshman from Algonquin, Illinois, for Alabama on the bars now.
Now as you watch the competitors on the uneven bars, watch for the straight body in the handstand, full stretch of the body through the swing, leg form, toe point, all of it matters. They're fighting for every tenth of a point.
Mackenzie Brannon scores in a 9.825 for Alabama.
A beautiful half in, half out dismount. Got a little hop on the landing, but just excellent form in the air.
Here is Olympic gold medalist Madison Koshin from UCLA, the young freshman who was a member of that Final 5 team at the Rio Olympics in 2016.
These gymnasts doing the Yurchenko full, which is a start value of 995, really are striving for absolute perfection because there will be some athletes performing 10-0 start value vaults.
UCLA had an outstanding performance in the semifinal round to make it through to the Super 6 finals. Here comes Missy Reinstatler now, the senior from Utah.
This is truly a lovely floor performance.
I talked to their head coach, Megan Marsden, and I said, what are the keys to your success tonight? She said, we need a very strong start on floor. It's a great event for us.
Not only is it a performance, but those judges are watching the landings of every tumbling pass, and they really want to see perfect control on the landing. We saw some bouncy landings during the semifinals and large steps. Like that one right there, that scoot back is a deduction.
10 times Utah has won the national championship. The last time they won was back in 1995.
Much better control on the middle pass. See teammates in the back, Coach Megan Marsden cheering her on. She wants the tumbling to be big, high, and controlled just like that on the landing. Much better on the third pass.
And just a moment ago for Alabama on the bars, Keely McNear.
Great to see this athlete back in the lineup. She had been in a car accident and had an injury to her finger, but she went to coach. Ooh, almost overbalanced that one hand, that first handstand. Got to settle down, be patient on this event. This is a swing event, not a muscle event. You don't want to look as if you're working. Judges are looking for those handstands to be right on top of the bar for no deduction. And of course the landing, just like that on the double layout. Very well done.
That's the third stick in a row for Alabama on the bars. Brannon and Mahoney had 9.825. Expect a good score for McNear.
Notice where the judges sit, right on the side. Now she was overbalanced. That arch in the back is going to be a slight deduction. But nice height and perfect distance from the bar on the release move.
And the score is in for her. It's a career high, 9.9 in the first rotation. Felicia Hano now for UCLA on the vault.
Yurchenko full. Oh, hop back. Those hops on the landing are going to add up 1/10 of a point each time.
UCLA has yet to stick a vault so far. Amanda Jeter a moment ago for Alabama on the bars, the senior from Ohio.
Beautiful first handstand. Oh, no. Fall on the release move. A fall is 5/10 of a point off. I have not seen her miss that release move.
Brian Rashilla, the associate head coach responsible for their uneven bars work. He puts her back up on the bars. Let's see what they can recover from. Once again, in team competition, 6 athletes, the best 5 scores count. So you can have a mistake, but certainly not 2.
Double front. She overcompensated from slinging it out a little too far and then over-rotated it, making sure she was going to land on her feet. Too bad.
Alabama's first 3 bar performances were outstanding. So they're off to a good start. They'll need 2 additional good scores to get a good team score there. Kyla Ross now, the Olympic gold medalist from 2012 and a 5-time world medalist as well, set to go for UCLA. They have yet to stick a vault, and all their scores range between 9.6875 and the high for Napua Hall, 9.8375.
Kyla does a Yurchenko full, usually perfect form and technique. Beautifully done. Just perfectly straight down the center of the table. Great leg form. Should score very well. I think she had a slight hop, hard to see from the end angle.
Pressure now on Kiana Winston for Alabama on the bars because the score in for Jeter, 9.325.
Kiana has, she was playing a little bit safe on that release move, making sure she was close enough to the bar.
Rachel Gowie on beam for Florida.
Oh no, and a miss on bars right there. She's had to cover. She covered it well, but it is a miss, and that will be a deduction. This is a triple series on beam. Back handspring to 2 layout step outs. Oh no!
Oh my goodness! What a shock here in the first rotation. Rachel Gowie coming off of a 9.85 for Kennedy Baker, a 9.8 for Grace McLaughlin, and Amelia Hundley's 9.85.
As you mentioned, Bart, they can drop one low score, but I'm just seeing some pressure mistakes. The nerves are very, very high. They all need to settle down. It's a long evening of competition.
And it's coming after an intense semifinal competition day yesterday with 2 very pressure-packed semis. An additional dimension to this competition is the mental and physical fatigue.
Completely off on the back handspring. It's amazing she got both layouts completed, but she was off to the side on the back handspring, and it's like a domino effect. It's really hard to correct it.
McKenna Merrill from Utah now, the senior up on floor. Tiffany Lewis before her, a 9.6375. She actually went out of bounds. Let's go down to Laura.
They're talking about those quick turnarounds for some of the teams that were in session 2 of the semifinals last night. Of course, those teams had a very quick opportunity to try and get ready for today. They had to be in the cold tub, doing everything they could for rehab, making sure their bodies are feeling good, because let's face it, at this point in the season, they all have injuries that they are dealing with, and to be ready for today to compete at the level they want to is very difficult. Florida saying that they spent most of this day just resting, trying to be as alert as they could tonight.
Thank you very much, Laura. Good point. That will be a factor. This entire competition is both the physical and mental fatigue from this intense, not only a long season, but a really intense weekend here of competition.
McKenna Merrill doing a terrific job here. Unfortunately, I love the upgrade. She moved it up to a full twisting double back for the opening pass, but stepped out of bounds. But seeing the mistakes we're seeing in the competition, we really have to stay on top of every single skill.
Now Utah, they competed in the earlier session yesterday afternoon, so they had a few more hours rest. The teams that were qualified in the semifinal number 2 last night, Florida, Alabama, and LSU, had a little bit of a disadvantage in terms of resting. We'll see if it plays into the factoring tonight. Alicia Boren now for Florida.
And what Alicia needs to do is see this as an opportunity. The opportunity to get her team back on track. She is very tough on this event. Talented, but most important, tough in this situation.
After 9.8 and 2.985, the score in now for Rachel Gowie, a 9.225. So big pressure on Boren here, and Alex McMurtry, who will follow after her to get 5 solid scores on beam in this first rotation for Florida.
I absolutely love what I'm seeing here. The level of confidence, I can see the sureness on her face, the determination.
Similar pressure on Katie Bailey on bars, because the score in for Amanda Jeter was a 9.325.
Excellent job by Alicia Boren. Oh no, and it went over on her handstand. This is, she was spectacular in the semifinals on this event.
And the score for Kiana Winston was just a 9.5875. This is really unfortunate for the Crimson Tide.
Certainly unexpected errors. Went way too hard on that handstand, really trying for perfection, and that is the risk you run.
So with 2 mistakes on bars for Alabama, they will have to count 1 low score for sure. For Utah, Bailey Rowe on the floor. McKenna Merrill before her a 9.65. Tiffany Lewis a 9.635. First 2 scores for Utah, very strong. Roberts got a 9.825 and Ryan Stantler the same.
We've had some out of bounds issues for Utah, bouncing on the landings. Bailey Rowe, always a magnetic personality on the floor exercise, really shows off the choreography and the character of this routine.
Bailey Rowe, the senior from Federal Way, Washington, one of the co-captains on this team, along with Maddie Stover.
Strong finish with a back 1.5 to front layout. That should bump their score up a bit.
A huge contingent in the house for Utah. They travel well, as they say in sports. They continue to set the standards for attendance at home in Salt Lake, and they do it on the road as well. Alex McMurtry now mounted the beam just a moment ago for Florida. She is the reigning NCAA all-around champion.
Still in a pressure situation. This is a must-hit routine.
Alicia Boren scores in 9.8875.
Alex has handled so many pressure situations. She went for utter perfection in the semifinals, which is exactly how she won the National All-Around Championship. But this is a different feel, I have to say. When your team is under pressure, in the first event, and it's balance beam. This takes a unique mental ability.
She literally stuck every single landing on all the apparatus, as well as every floor tumbling pass yesterday. Perhaps the meat of her life to win the national championship, just edging out Michaela Skinner.
Excellent work. Well done for Florida. They were in a tight place, and they came through.
They had to replace the score of freshman Rachel Gowie, 9.225, and McMurtry delivered.
That is exactly what you have to do in that situation. Not follow it up with another broken routine, but they just immediately turn the corner on that.
Michaela Skinner, she was second in the all-around. Yesterday's semifinals, that's where they determine the individual champions at these NCAA championships. A replacement athlete to the 2016 Olympic team in Rio. And this floor routine is just so much fun, Kathy.
It's like a routine that's shot out of a cannon. Once it starts, it does not stop. Double-double. How about that? You won't see that anywhere else in women's collegiate gymnastics, and she does it as easily as she walks into the gym.
3 scores in the 9.8 range, 2 in the 9.6 range. So Utah, this is normally a strong event for them, expecting a big score here from Skinner.
This is the perfect choreography to showcase her personality, her spirit. That's as if to tell us there is no problem here. And if you were impressed with the first pass, check out the middle pass. A lot of twisting, 1.5 twists, all the way through to a double twist.
Score is in now for Alex McMurtry for Florida on a beam. A very impressive 9.9125 in a clutch situation for the Gators over on beam.
Michaela ends with a full in, back out. Beautiful height, excellent control on the landing, and I love this ending. It's a ta-da of a finish. Beautiful.
The young freshman, she had committed in 2014 to go to Utah, but she decided to defer because she wanted a shot at making the Olympic team, and she ended up becoming a replacement athlete and traveled to Rio with Simone Biles and all.
What a fantastic skill. 2 flips, 2 twists, easy as pie.
Well, Florida survived the pressure on the beam, and Laura Rutledge is with their coach, Jenny Rowland.
All right, thanks so much, Bart. And Coach, how would you describe the way that your team was able to bounce back from a fall on beam?
Amazing. We're a team, we're a family, and following a fall with 299 pluses, ecstatic. Can't be more proud of this team.
Your anchor on beam, Alex McMurtry, won the all-around in semifinals. What does she mean to this team, especially on a night like tonight?
She really is a true leader for this team. Just her dedication to this team, in and out of the gym, her dedication to this team. She carries the weight of this team on her shoulders, but doesn't let it affect her. She's a gem.
Thanks so much, Coach.
Thank you.
Bart.
Okay, the first round of competition is complete here from St. Louis. Florida, Utah, UCLA, Alabama, the top 4. Did by Northwestern Mutual. After rotation 1, you see the scores. Florida, Utah, UCLA, and Alabama, LSU, and Oklahoma were on byes in that rotation. But really the storyline, Kathy Johnson-Clark, has been a shaky start.
Ooh, I saw so much pressure released here. The nerves are so high that we saw falls that we didn't expect. Even Kiana Winston, who was immaculate in the all-around in the semifinals, had to make a cover-up move because of a mistake. And Katie Bailey, who was spectacular on this event just last night, overshot a handstand and had to get back into the swing of her routine. Rachel Gowie doing a very difficult triple series, took it completely off. Again, this is just nerves. It's almost, picture a balloon being blown up, and finally you have to release that pressure, and unfortunately came with a fall.
On floor for Utah, two of the gymnasts couldn't contain their power and stepped out of bounds.
We know this floor is very bouncy. They were working on learning how to control the landings in the semifinals, but troubles abounded. Full twisting double back, looked like she had it, and then stepped out.
No sticks for UCLA on vault in that first rotation as well. All right, when we come back, the big two take to the floor. Oklahoma hoping to repeat. LSU has never won this title.
The 13 other girls that I'm competing with.
For my team, for LSU, the best university in the country.
Winning a national championship would mean that there's just so much love that went into it.
Any win, it's not just mine, it's shared with everybody else.
I hope that we can carry on this legacy.
It would mean everything to our team and to our community, and that's what this team is all about.
A lot riding on the shoulders of these young student athletes. Well, let's take a look, Kathy Johnson-Clark, at how the teams in the Super Six are planning for success, brought to you by Northwestern Mutual.
Even the best teams have weaker events than some of their stronger events. So the plan is on those areas that are the weaker events, they must minimize any mistakes, go for sticks, go for perfect handstands, then maximize on their big events. They got to go big and run that score up, and then capitalize when there are mistakes, and we've seen some mistakes.
Four teams on the floor in this rotation are Utah on the vault, Oklahoma on the bars, Alabama on the beam, and LSU on the floor. UCLA and Florida are on buys.
Sydney Ewing starting for LSU on the floor exercise. And Winter Childers on the balance beam for Alabama.
Bailey Rowe will lead off Utah on the vault. And Chase Capps set to go for the Sooners on the bars.
Not a bad start for Utah on vault. All of the vaulters in this competition really have to go for big amplitude. We noticed in semifinals the judges are rewarding higher vaults, vaults with great distance, and of course that landing.
Remember, you can watch your favorite team all night long on the All Around channel, which is available on Watch ESPN. We'll cover every competitor on every apparatus on the All Around channel. So light up your iPad and increase your experience when you're able to see every routine going on tonight.
And what a bar routine we just saw from Chase Capps over at Oklahoma, getting them started off. Sydney Ewing finishing up floor exercise routine. LSU went lights out during the semifinals.
Oh, and she stepped out of bounds as well.
Out of bounds.
Wow.
So much power for that final tumbling run, and they were so perfect during semifinals.
LSU, one of the fittest and strongest teams. We've seen them finish with a great deal of power. Interesting that she overpowered her last tumbling pass.
Everything that's going through my mind is I cannot emphasize enough how well these teams manage their pressure, manage their nerves during semifinals to get here. They had to be at their best just to get to Super 6. So I think now we're seeing the nerves finally affect them just a little bit.
Of course, LSU has never won this NCAA championship. They've had a historic season on every level. Oklahoma hoping for their third title and their second one in a row. The first title in 2014 they shared with Florida in a tie, and last year they won it outright.
Interesting.
Excuse me, Kathy, 9-8-8-7-5 Chase Capps score.
An interesting note about Oklahoma, they were not pressured during the semifinals.
Go down to Laura.
Yeah, Bart, right before this competition, Oklahoma had a huddle where they said, if we are at our best, no one can beat us. So let's be at our best. And then that's what they all put their hands in after. So that's how they feel when they are at their best. Incredible confidence, and they've committed to that throughout this entire season.
Thank you, Laura. Winter Childers did her beam routine for Alabama and had a 9-8-1-2-5. You're watching Asia Sims in the left box.
Asia had an extraordinary beam routine during the semifinals. Notice her breathe out after that landing. That is really important to see. That's a way to release a little bit of the pressure, to manage whatever nerves she's feeling, control them. convert them rather, I should say, to focus. She's literally talking out loud to herself, calming herself, assuring herself, trust the training. This is another fantastic routine by the senior, Asia Sims. Excellent job.
So 2-hit routines for the Crimson Tide after a shaky start on the bars. Let's see if they can work their way back in it. A moment ago, McKenna Merrill on the vault for Utah.
This is a 1.5 twist, start value of 10.0. Brought her head forward at the end of the vault. No way to stick a landing that way, so they'll take a deduction for the step.
Utah has yet to break more than 9.8 on vault. Bailey Rowe had a 9.775 and Macy Roberts a 9.75. Brenna Dowell now for the Sooners on bars, coming after Stephanie Couture's 9.9.
Look at the beautiful release move. How high it was, how well she turned it all the way over. Extended reach for the regrasp was just really a nice routine going here to the double layout and a perfect landing. That was a superb bar routine. The judges are gonna love it.
And the third stick in a row for the Sooners on an event where they are ranked #1 in the country. Wow.
This is a team that felt absolutely no pressure in semifinals. They got to work through. I think now we're seeing them at their absolute best.
Stephanie Couture had a 9.9 prior to that. Chase Katz a 9.8875. So the Sooners, who left some tenths of a point on the table in the semifinal, looking good here in the first rotation.
They went and picked him back up.
Keely McNear, let's see if she can recover from her unfortunate performance on bars.
Well, she's back in the balance beam lineup. This has been a solid performer for Alabama throughout her career, particularly on this event. I don't know if she's going to get credit for that connection. You really have to connect those two elements in order to get the series with no extra arm movement or balance issues in between.
Asia Sims score is in 9.85.
It's interesting they went back to this lineup with Keely back in the balance beam. They had opted. This is a rattled Alabama team who was so tough in the semifinals to get to this point, and they had to be.
They had to be because they just edged out a Nebraska coming on. So Maya Hambrick starting her floor routine for LSU, and their scores have been very unimpressive for LSU considering this is one of their best events so far.
LSU has such huge score potential on this event. In fact, KJ Kindler mentioned us, they have got to be at their absolute best over on bars to match LSU's floor exercise in the first rotation to just get that momentum going. Little off on that landing, and by a little, I mean tiny bit off.
LSU's lowest counting score yesterday on this event was a 9.9. They haven't been broken to 9.8 yet. 9.7625 is the high score for Shea Zamardi. Moment ago for the Sooners on the bars, Nicole Lehrman, who's one of 6 of the national champions as of yesterday's competition.
Large step back on that final tumbling run for Maya Hambrick. Nicole is absolutely beautiful on this event. Look at the impeccable toe point and the precision of her positions. The handstands so perfectly on top of the bar.
Beautiful.
This is gorgeous work by Oklahoma on the uneven bars.
And the 4th stock landing in a row. Brenna Dowell before her had a 9.925.
This definitely deserves a second look. Michaela Skinner on vault with her Yurchenko double twist. Wow, legs perfectly together. Good for her. She has worked so hard on getting that form in the air. Didn't quite get the landing here, but a better vault in the air.
And the score in for Lehrman on the bars for the Sooners. She ended up with another 9.925. So the Sooners have had 4 performances, 3 of them 9.9 or better, and they have their best 2 athletes yet to go. Sarah Finnegan set to go on floor. Also a replacement athlete to the Olympic team back in 2012. She's from Lee's Summit, Missouri. So there are a lot of Show Me State folks here to cheer her on.
Bart, it's impossible not to ask the question that we all had in our minds after their incredible performance in the semifinals. That was truly just extraordinary. High scoring, perfect landings. Can they do it again? Can they turn right around the very next day with very little recovery time?
So far, the teams are struggling, and yet Oklahoma is on fire on the bars.
Beautiful control on that landing. That's exactly what they need to see.
A minute ago for Alabama on beam, Maddie Desch. This is a replay of her fall. So the wheels coming off, unfortunately, for the Crimson Tide.
LSU is a team that has put so much work in this season. Worked on all of the details, striving for absolute perfection in everything they do. Total fitness so that they could do routines over and over throughout a long season. And that kind of work should pay off if they will just get back on track like that. Those are the landings they had all throughout the semifinals. Well done by Sarah Finnegan.
And that's coming after Maya Hambrick's impressive 9.85. So LSU getting back on track after 2 slightly shaky first routines. Moment ago, Maggie Nichols on bars coming after Mackenzie Waffer's 9.8875.
And it's hard to imagine a routine getting even better than any of we've seen from Oklahoma, but watch this. Beautiful single bar release now. Pack salto down, she works out of it. I love that combination. Makes it so much more difficult, exciting to watch. And she punctuates it with such perfect technique, high flying double layout, and absolute perfection on the landing.
A superb rotation and 6 stalk landings for the Sooners in the first rotation. Unreal.
Watch the height above the bar. Look at this. 2.5 feet above the high bar. And the dismount just technically so precise, so beautiful, elegant really, nicely done.
And her score is in 9.95. That score of a 49.5875 for the Oklahoma Sooners in the first rotation is an NCAA championship record on the bars. What a start for the Sooners. Here is McKenna Kelly now for LSU. The sophomore from Houston, Texas, the daughter of Olympic champion Mary Lou Retton.
What a powerful start to the routine. Music absolutely a perfect selection for her type of tumbling, her dance strong, very athletic. Watch this skill. Open double back with a full twist. Perfect landing. Now they're dialing back in the landings we saw during semifinals.
Deanna Winston on beam for Alabama. The score in for Maddie Desch at 9.225. So 2 low scores for Alabama on beam.
Much better on those leaps. She has worked so hard to get those more precise, really pretty in the air.
You know, for McKenna, we often talk about her famous mom, but we should mention that her father, Shannon Kelly, was a former standout quarterback for the University of Texas football team.
Look at the height on that double back.
Okay.
Excellent work.
And there's our Mary Lou and Shannon. And a big contingent of Tiger supporters. By the way, the score for Sarah Finnegan, a 9.9125. So LSU getting back on track.
This was as high a final tumbling run as you will see, front all the way through. Watch the lift, way up in the air. Lands nice and high. She says every year, okay, I'm not going to scream as loud.
I'm going to stay in my seat. Okay, so the LSU Tigers hoping for their first shot at the NCAA championship to cap off an historic season. They won the SEC regular season title. They won the SEC Conference Championship in a thriller. And Ashley Natt, the senior student athlete who just a few days ago here in St. Louis earned the AAI award, which is essentially the Heisman Trophy of gymnastics, given to the top student senior athlete. And she is a fine representative of the sport, and here is her final routine on the floor for LSU.
Just love seeing her skip onto the floor. No one plays gymnastics like Bugs. Watch this, she winds up, double layup. The smile throughout is as genuine as you can imagine. Loves this sport. You can see it in her work. Beautiful control on the landing as well.
McKenna Kelly's score is in 9-9, so 2 9-9s for LSU after a slightly shaky start. Opportunity here for a big score for the 14-time All-American.
Nice positions in her leaps. One final landing. Oh, slightly forward on her double pike. Oh, just a little off on that final landing.
She earned a share of the NCAA floor exercise title yesterday. So LSU was lights out in day one and strong but not perfect on floor today in the opening session here.
It's really amazing. They're coming up with the energy that they have. Oh gosh, look at Dad, look at Mom. Oh, I can only imagine their feelings right now.
Her mom is 1972 Olympian Joan Moore, and her father, Ray Natt, a former All-America gymnast at LSU. Dana Duckworth is the head coach of the Crimson Tide, and Laura Rutledge is with her now.
All right, thank you, Bart. And Coach, now you head into a bye after the first two rotations. What are you planning to say to your team?
You know, I think the big message is gymnastics is what we do. It's not who we are. This meet does not define us. And so I think that, you know, we are not having the best meet, and some of our seniors have had some mistakes, but you know what? They're doing everything they can. No one goes out there to try to make a mistake. And so I think I'm going to say is that still love what you do, love each other, build these memories, and then it isn't how you start right now, it's how you finish. And so it's going to be about let's just refocus, reset, and use this as a tool to make us stronger and to make us better. And so I'm going to tell them that gymnastics is what they do, it's not who they are, and I love them no matter what.
Thanks so much.
Roll Tide, thank you.
Bart.
Thank you, Laura. We have just completed the second of 6 rotations here in St. Louis. Tonight we will crown the national champion. Based on team averages, Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, the top 3. Now in that rotation, Oklahoma killed it on the bars, setting an NCAA championship record Grenadal started them with their first big score.
They were on fire from start to finish, but most important, they kept patient on all of the skills to hit those handstands, find the perfect height and distance on those release moves. Form was spectacular, and Maggie Nichols just put the exclamation point at the end of this amazing statement they have made to start their championship run.
Oklahoma was 6 for 6 on landings. Unfortunately for Alabama, a rough go on the beam.
At this point, it's so challenging to watch because I just can feel the hearts drop on this team of Alabama. Sarah Flanagan for LSU really got them back on track in terms of finding the landings that they were so extraordinarily successful during semifinals. And of course, Ashley Nat, always someone you can count on, especially in this anchor position to finish so strongly. She came up just a little bit short on her final tumbling pass, only because she opened up to try to find the landing a little too soon.
So when we come back to the next rotation, Oklahoma will move to the beam. We're the #1 team in the country. They have the lead here at the national championships.
We're back in St. Louis, and if you're looking for LSU's motivation, look no further than a 6-year-old girl named Gracie Zonbreaker. She is also a gymnast, and she has an inoperable brain tumor. She's dealing with treatment right now and doing very well with that. Took the time to write each LSU gymnast a handwritten note of encouragement as they headed to this national championship. Her aunt also made them all personalized necklaces that they have been wearing, and they say that Gracie is their inspiration. If Gracie can get through what she's going through right now, they can do anything.
What an inspiring story. Thank you so much, Laura. In this rotation, LSU's on the vault, UCLA on the bars, Oklahoma on the beam, Florida on the floor, Utah and Alabama are on buys.
Grace McLaughlin for Florida on the floor exercise. That was Sarah Finnegan on the vault, getting them started off. And Charity Jones on balance beam for Oklahoma. And they are in such a good position to be able to relax. That doesn't mean take it easy, but they can relax and be normal on balance beam. Little balance issue on that beat jump.
Quick reminder, you look at the scoring bug on the right of your screen. Oklahoma is currently on the beam, but their meet average, because of their bar scores, was 99175. So technically they're the leaders based on average scores. The reason we do that is because not every team has done the same number of performances, because there are 6 teams and only 4 apparatus. So hopefully the average scores help you stay on track with who's trending towards a championship.
Strong routine for Oklahoma to start off. Always great to get that lead-off gymnast done on balance beam.
A moment ago for UCLA, this is Sonia Miraz. Oh, on the bars.
She is new to the lineup. She did not compete here in semifinals.
Maya Hambrick set to go for LSU. We noted the mistake for UCLA on bars. They were unreal in the semifinal. And I think there were a few question marks. Could they come back today with the same intensity and consistency that they showed 2 days in a row?
It's hard to do when you've given your absolute all, everything you've got, just to qualify out of semifinals. And that was a huge accomplishment. It was wonderful to see. But you're right, the question has to go through your mind. Especially with the team, they're dealing with some injuries. They had to switch around their floor lineup because of them.
Maya Hambrick now for LSU. Now this team trains so intensely. They seem to have the fitness for 2-day meets.
Absolutely. 1.5 twist. Oh, really short on the rotation. Did not get the landing that she did in semifinals. Few hops back. This is the first year that Maya is doing the 1.5 twist. I love the guts of going for the greater difficulty. She was a little low onto the table, and it really didn't set up the vault well in terms of rotation, so she had to take those few steps.
Nicole Lehrman on the beam now for Oklahoma. Charity Jones, an impressive 9.875 to lead them off with a stuck landing as well.
Like the uneven bars, they are very special on this event. I like the composition of the routines, the choreography, the variety of skills. Beautiful poise on that aerial walkover. There's her dance series. Very solid on her afro series.
Lehrman, the sophomore from Austin, Texas.
You really want to see the gymnast use the entire balance beam and show different level changes, the leaps and somersaults high above the beam, and then skills down on the balance beam, and of course use the full length, which she does all in her dismount. Round off 1.5 twist, little step, half step on that landing.
You see, she gets congratulations from KJ Kindler, the head coach at Oklahoma, in her 11th year. And for some reason, year in and year out, Kathy Johnson-Clark, KJ Kindler figures out a way to maximize their scores on beam, and they're so confident there.
It begins with the way they train balance beam. As I said, they all get up on their beams in practice, and they never get off. They just stay up there. She wants them to feel so comfortable. You live, breathe, eat, everything on the balance beam.
A moment ago for UCLA on the bars, Janae Honest after Sonia Miraz's 9.1875.
Very successful on her release move. Nice straddle back to the low bar. You don't usually see that transition. Good handstand to set up the dismount. Coach Chris Waller there watching very closely. He's happy with that one.
And just a moment ago on the vault for LSU, Sydney Ewing. She's coming after Maya Hambrick's score, a 9.7 only.
She had a spectacular near perfect vault in semis. This one was pretty good, but again, slightly short on rotation, had to shuffle the feet back.
LSU had a dream performance in yesterday's semifinals. They are showing glimpses of greatness, but they're not getting the numbers they were getting yesterday. They had a 9.8375 for Finnegan. Maya Hambrick a 9.7. Sydney Ewing score is not bad, 9.8375. Let's see what Ruby Harold can do. Former British national team member.
She's performing a 1.5 twist, trying to come up big for them here. Much bigger vault in the air. That's the best vault she has done since she's been in St. Louis. I watched her in the practice. Excellent job there.
Amelia Hundley, former U.S. national team member on the floor now for Florida. Good scores to start. McLaughlin a 9.8, Rachel Slocum a 9.8375.
Whip back to a tuck double back.
Good on to Laura Rutledge.
Bart, Amelia Hundley has put a lot of pressure on herself during this postseason. Remember, she was an elite gymnast, and she said this is the first time she's had to compete this much and this long, with the collegiate season being much more taxing. She finally got to the point where she just let it all go and said, let me come out here and have fun with my team. Once she's gotten there, she's really found some success in St. Louis.
Good point. The transition from elite gymnastics can often be a difficult one, and especially when you're trying to transition into college as well, get used to classes, living away from home. One good thing, though, she has a lot of experience competing on podium. Her landings on these tumbling passes are very good.
She was 9th in the 2016 Olympic trials, less than a year ago.
Notice how she just absorbs the power from the tumbling on that landing to really give no steps and get no deductions on those landings.
Individual champion on the vault as of yesterday, Kennedy Edney.
Performed her 1.5 twist, went for the stick, couldn't quite get it. Oh, a little stumble off the mat, but that doesn't count.
She's coming after Ruby Harold's score of a 9.8875.
Gymnasts can flip and twist, but they can't walk.
How many athletes have we heard that they sprain their ankle stepping off the curb between classes on campus, and yet they can do some of the most complex acrobatics in the world? Let's go back to bars for UCLA. Maddie Koshin, who is a member of that Olympic gold medal winning team in Rio, and she won an individual medal on the bars as well.
And you can really marvel at her technique on this event. She is a true swinger of the bars. Nothing looks hard. It looks easy, smooth. And this is probably a fourth of the difficulty she did in her Olympic routine, but boy, is it plenty for this competition, and a great dismount and stick.
Alex McMurtry on floor now for Florida. She's the reigning national champion in the all-around, and she has had some struggles with a back injury. Let's see what she can do. And at the same time, Ashley Nett on the vault for LSU.
Dueling twist. There's a triple right there from Alex McMurtry. And Bugs does her double twist. Yurchenko. LSU couldn't quite get a stuck landing on the vault.
They have no stuck landings over there. Kennedy Edney before her at 9.85. I mentioned the sort of sore back that Alex McMurtry has been dealing with. She rarely trains this kind of level of intensity 2 days in a row, so enormous pressure on this young lady.
Well, with so many athletes here having trouble with landings, when you see somebody really perfect theirs, it's nice to see, and I'm sure the judges are appreciating that as well.
Amelia Hundley before her a 9.8375.
Final tumbling run is a double back. She has superb technique in her round up bank handstring that really sets up such great tumbling elements in this routine. And a dynamic finish. Almost just like the performance last night when she won the all-around.
And we weren't sure we were going to see that. When we watched her in the warm-ups, she was really struggling. She looked like she's in a lot of pain with her lower back. Now, here is a young lady who owns a share of the national title, Olympic medalist Kyla Ross.
As perfect as you can be on this event, it's Kyla Ross. Just time and time again, she hits that bar routine so exquisitely. It's just elegant, legs together, legs straight, and like a dart into the ground, finds the landing.
She's coming after Madison Koshin's score of a 9.9375. So UCLA has two stuck landings over there, and another one for Ross. Peng Peng Lee will be their anchor performer.
And bars is the event really where they have to maximize. This is a high-scoring event for them, and they got to try to run that score up.
Maggie Nichols, you see her score there in the semifinal, 9.35. The young freshman had an uncharacteristic mistake on the front salto towards the end of her routine.
She has looked so flawless all year long, really unbeatable throughout the season. Here's her series backhand from layout, step out. So soft on the landing. Here's where she had the trouble in the semifinals after this leap series. She will turn and she does her front tuck.
This is where she struggled, right here on this tuck front somersault. Oh, she took it out.
Tuck double back, beautiful job. What a great routine.
Brilliant coaching.
Great to see the smile on her face. She was in tears after balance beam in semis, and what a turnaround for this young lady. Great to see it.
And while she was on the beam, the score came in for Alex McMurtry on the floor, and that was a 9.95. Just moments ago, Alicia Boren took to the floor. Christine Peng Lee now for UCLA on the bars. This is always a highlight.
This is as extraordinary as you get on this event. It is the high-flying, most fun routine I have seen in college gymnastics in a while. Back to back to back, difficulty from start to finish. Absolutely, she is so on in this routine. This looked like her warm-ups in semis when I almost, could not get that landing, but what a routine. I'm sorry, that is the routine of the uneven bars. If she could have just got that landing, it would have been through the roof. Alicia Boren doing a fabulous job with this floor routine. So exciting to see her tumbling, so much power. She came up a little bit short on the landing in semis with this final pass. It's usually really, really high. Let's see if she can get it up there in the air. There it is, chest up this time. Nicely done.
And guess what? The score is in now for Maggie Nichols on the beam. It's a 10. So after a fall yesterday and getting only a 9.35, they adjusted the routine today in the Super 6 final. And what a move it was, Kathy Johnson-Clark.
Absolutely, great to see it.
Just a moment ago, Chase Capps mounted the beam for the Sooners. You see her score in the semifinal.
Chase has been the rock-solid gymnast for this routine, for this event, and for this team.
Alicia Boren got a 9.95 career high, and Kennedy Baker now for Florida on the floor.
Starting to see Florida really come up with the routines they're capable of. These last few have been sensational. Look at that, was almost completely laid out. An Arabian double. That is as open as I've ever seen her do that pass.
Florida has stuck all their landings on floor.
Chase Capps doing an excellent job. Beautiful control on aerial walkover to the scale.
Oh, here we go.
Wow, look at the height and the landing of that double back. Beautiful position in these leads. She is going for broke here, really trying to hit everything as perfectly as possible. And the dismount for Chase Capps, excellent on the beam, excellent on the floor. Wow.
What a competition we have going tonight. Florida outstanding in this rotation on floor. Kennedy Baker does her part.
This was the best tumbling I have ever seen Kennedy Baker do. Look at that. I mean, it is almost completely laid out. I cannot tell you how difficult that is. And the final pass, look at the smile on her face. It says it all.
Okay, nice job for Florida in that rotation on the floor. Utah coach Tom Farden is with our Laura Rutledge.
All right, thanks so much, Bart. And coach, now that you have vault and floor completed, you've had the bye to reset. How would you assess competition so far for Utah?
Well, we came out on floor a little juiced up, had a couple out of bounds. I thought they did a good job on vault, and now we're on the intricate event, so we told them just to kind of take a deep breath and let's go over here and see what we can come up with. But there's still some gymnastics to be done. We're excited.
Yeah, what do you think will be most important, other than taking a deep breath, about this bars rotation?
You know, the most important, what I want them to do is start in the rhythm and then just continue with the rhythm, swing rhythm throughout their routine.
Thanks so much.
Okay, thank you.
Bart, the swing rhythm.
And a perfect 10 for Maggie Nichols in that rotation, the 4th in NCAA championship history. The last was 2009, Courtney Coupet. Wow! This is the first time today that all 6 teams have actually done 2 events each. Oklahoma with a lead of almost a half a point over Florida, and LSU the top 3. Let's take a look at some highlights from that previous rotation, Kathy.
Well, I am certain that LSU wish they could have bottled up their landings and their routines from the semis and uncorked it here, but they had some trouble with their vaults, finding these landings. They were just a little bit short in terms of the bigness of the vault and couldn't find the landing. Madison Clotions, great job for UCLA on the bars, and they were able to find landings in superb fashion, with Kyla Ross showing her trademark form and execution once again. And what a thrill and excitement, so well deserved. Maggie Nichols, a 10.0 on balance beam. What a turnaround from the semifinals. And Chase Capps, the rock of the team, the senior, heart and soul, and finished them off with a 9.95. Oklahoma is on fire. Florida is having an outstanding competition with great work by Alex McMurtry. Alicia Boren found her height, rotation, and stood it straight up for a big score.
Sunday on ABC, we'll have a Western Conference Game 1 between the Trailblazers and the Warriors from the Oracle Arena. Our coverage tips off at 3 p.m. Eastern with NBA Countdown, presented by Straight Talk Wireless. And as always, it can be seen streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. When we come back to St. Louis, Florida needs to be strong on the vault. Oklahoma coming off an NCAA record on the beam. Florida and second place to Oklahoma in this meet.
Hip-hop, acoustic, eclectic musings with electric music. Then I make a groove, make it move, make a move with the groove. Make it who there, make it who, make that who there, who.
We're at the halfway point here in St. Louis in the Super 6 finals. Here are the scores. Oklahoma with a lead of just under a half a point over Florida, LSU, UCLA, Utah, and Alabama. In this rotation, Florida is on the vault, Utah on the bars, UCLA goes to the beam, and Alabama on the floor.
This is Amanda Jeter on floor exercise. For Alabama. Beautiful Arabian double front. Nice to see that landing.
Sorry, Kathy, go ahead.
Alabama has so much support. You can hear them right behind us cheering on their team.
Amelia Huntley on vault.
Yurchenko full, great landing. What a way to start. They're having trouble getting off that mat as they run off.
Michaela Skinner now leads off the bars for Utah.
It's a good routine for them to start with. Ooh, a little bit of an arch on the back on that transition to the low bar. Very short and sweet routine, but she hung on to that landing amazingly well. Her feet were slightly apart, but she didn't move them. Hit that handstand pretty darn close to vertical. Well done. Really working on the form here, and a high flying. Full twisting double back, legs apart on the landing, but then pulls them together.
Michaela Skinner, the freshman phenom for Utah. She was sitting pretty in the all-around competition, and yet she had to succumb to the perfect meet that Alex McMurtry from Florida had in that evening session last night. Stuck every single landing. And Florida continuing to do extremely well here today. Sierra Alexander set to go on the vault. Amelia Huntley's score is in a 9.8375.
Great to see the freshman into the lineup here. She's got a big vault if she can find the landing. Not bad. Look at the distance from the table. I mean, she flies on that vault. Makes it a little bit trickier to get a stick on the landing, but not too bad.
The NCAA Championships coverage continues with the NCAA Lacrosse Championship. Catch the NCAA Lacrosse Selection Special at 9 on May 7th to find out who will make the field of 16. For more information on the 90 NCAA Championships, log on to ncaa.com. Just a minute ago for Utah on the bars, Missy Reinstatler. The score in for Michaela Skinner was a 9.85.
Always look forward to this routine just to see this excellent form. Toe point, there's her release move. High Jaeger. Oh, short on that handstand. Just a little bit rushed in her swing. Got it that time, not bad. Let's see if she can pull off the stick. Just a little hop forward.
Back to the vault now for Florida. Kennedy Baker, Sierra Alexander, a 9.8125.
This is a 1.5 twist. Whoa! Little short on that rotation. You could see in the air she was already thinking stick. It kind of stopped the rotation, so she had to hop back. Really wanted this landing so badly, and sometimes you get ahead of yourself and it just slows down the rotation, but she manages to get those arms up quickly. That's a great cover, but they will see the slide.
Florida needing a strong performance here on the vault. They're in second place, chasing Oklahoma, who's on a bye in this rotation. McKenna Merrill on bars for Utah. They're in 5th of the 16 so far, but bars is typically an event where they have to have some clutch routines.
Nice high Delchev. Great unique release move. I know Tom Farden is enjoying this routine. He wanted them to get into a good rhythm, not fight themselves, not get ahead of themselves. Stalled her to handstand and a tuck double flyaway. There's the landing.
Alicia Boren for Florida on vault.
Another 1.5. They have 4.10 vault. Oh no.
My.
Big deductions for that. That's too bad.
So Kennedy Baker had a 9.9, so she finessed that landing to an impressive score, but that will hurt Alicia Boren. Lineup change for UCLA on the beam. Let's go to Laura.
Yeah, Bart, we see Hallie Mozette in here for Sonia Moraz, and Valcondo's field made a last-minute change. Seemed like Sonia Moraz struggled in warm-ups on beam, and remember, she did have that fall on bars, so they trusted Mozette instead in this spot.
Thank you, Laura. In fact, Michaela Gerber led them off with a very strong 9.8375. UCLA currently 4th in this Super 6 team competition.
This is another event for UCLA where they can maximize their score. They have some really excellent beam routines in this rotation. Look at that. Up. Oh, that hurts my toes. Wow. They always do such unique choreography on the balance beam. Coach Valcondos loves it to be a performance, not just a routine.
Oh,
and a great dismount. Aerial cartwheel sideways. Back full off the end. Remember Danusha Francis of UCLA and a balance beam national champion for them. Started that trend, did that dismount.
There is Miss Valerie Condos Field, the head coach for the Bruins. A moment ago on vault for Florida, Rachel Slocum.
This is a front pike cap. It's a fun vault. Always a high scoring vault for them. She didn't quite get the landing that we've seen her get before. Her chest was a little bit further down than normal, but wow, look at that. Because it's harder to get this high on a traditional entry vault. 10 feet away from the table. That is spectacular distance.
She took off in Missouri and landed in Kansas. Wow. Alicia Boren before her got only a 9.65 after she stumbled on the landing. So the high score for Florida so far, as you see Jenny Rowland hovering in the background, is the 9.9. Rachel Slocum has a 9.875. And here is
Alex
one of the
McMurtry.
finest vaults in the country, maybe the world.
Absolutely. She has a fabulous Yurchenko double twist. They need a gigantic score, and she's capable of it.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful vault. Absolutely gorgeous. The thing about that little hop, it was actually in place. So it looked like she had this stick. She just sort of repositioned the feet. They will take a little deduction for that. But wow, look at this. Holy cow, 5.5 feet and almost 6 feet in the air. 8.5 feet away from the table on the landing. And just a slight little bunny hop on the landing.
And the form until the end was impeccable.
And the technique, Bart, to see her lift her core, lift those arms, so the vault keeps going up, up, up.
So a strong rotation for Florida, currently trailing Oklahoma. They're in second, Oklahoma the leader, but they're on a bye in this rotation. Madison Koshin for UCLA on the beam now.
So far they have scores 9.8375, 9.895. Great scores on beam. If they can bump into that 9.9 range with some of their balance beam routines, they can maximize on these strong events for them. Of course, Koshin has such experience handling enormous pressure at the Olympic level. There's no more pressure-ridden situation than that.
Scores coming in now for Alex McMurtry. Wow, a 9.9375. Florida got what they needed on the vault in that rotation. Currently second in this team competition.
Looking for a stick on this double twist to finish the routine for Koshin. Whoa, big hop back. They will take the deduction there. The routine was solid.
So that's the third hit routine for the Bruins.
Beautiful, showing that full split and beyond. You really want to see that, not only to meet the requirement, but so pleasing to the eye.
So 6 routines, you count just the best 5 scores. UCLA has 3 great beam routines already and some incredible gymnasts yet to come, including world and Olympic medalist Kyla Ross. A moment ago for Utah on the bars, Kari Lee. We saw her stumble a little bit yesterday on her dismount.
On the dismount, and it hurt her ankle. So she really wants to first get through the routine. Obviously, you don't want to get ahead of yourself. She's actually swinging this routine even better. Setting up for that dismount. Needs to find the release point. Get the toes up here. That's much better. Oh! Then pulled it around. She was making sure she was not going to under-rotate it. And, of course, she's worried about the ankle. So preparing for a landing that you know it's going to hurt. Not an easy thing to do.
She has struggled with leg injuries before, so that one certainly stung. Kyla Ross, Olympic champion, 5-time world medalist, and she is a master of the beam, Kathy.
She absolutely is. Just so elegant, so poised, and strive for perfection. Every pose, every step, every skill. It's almost impossible to catch her in an awkward position. She is just so technically precise. Legs always straight. Watch the position on the leap here. The switch ring, Oh, no, lost her balance. That you don't often see.
Score, by the way, for Madison Koshin before her, a 9.8125. So the high score for the Bruins is the 9.895 from Mosette.
Beautiful aerial walkover. She's back in her rhythm. The dismount. Nice position and height on her leaps. The dismount is a combination aerial cartwheel into the full twist. Usually gets the landing pretty perfect. Let's see if she can get it. Yep, there it is. Just the one mistake in the beam. It's kind of a leaning balance issue. This is a switch ring. You would have to throw your head back. What a gorgeous position. Very difficult leap and a masterful save, but a save nonetheless. Look at that. On the edge of the beam. Pulls herself back on. And perfection on the dismount.
A moment ago for Alabama, Asia Sims took to the floor.
Asia has had such a wonderful competition here in her final NCAA competition.
All the scores are 9-8 or better for Alabama on this event so far.
Look at those gorgeous leaps, showing more than enough flexibility and beautiful form in the air. Having a little bit of fun here. I'm sure the young people out there recognize all these different dances. Much better tumbling. Well done. Found the perfect punch between those two elements.
Wow, this performance is wrapping up. Christine Pang Lee for UCLA on the beam.
And we go from a master on the beam to just someone who can be so spectacular here. Unique difficulty throughout the routine. She takes such great risk in both the dance elements and the skills. Back handspring, lay out to 2 feet. Nice height, look at the amplitude. And then up on high toe. She moves so quickly through this routine. Double turn here. Who does that? Right into a beat jump. And she just has fun. I love that she can enjoy herself so much. It's an adventure, really, more than a routine. Aerial cartwheel to layout full. Absolutely gorgeous. And that goes above and beyond. Not all beam routines do. Most of them meet the requirements, and they're all scored from a 10.0. And you don't get bonus necessarily for going above and beyond, but you should. And I hope we'll see it in the score, because this was fabulous. I love this double turn. That's so hard. Nobody takes that risk anymore. And finished so strong. And Coach Valerie Condos is like, no big deal. She does it all the time.
She's coming off a 9.85 for Kyla Ross. And a moment ago, Kiana Winston took to the floor for Alabama, coming after AJ Sims, who had a 9.875.
Wonderful to see Alabama coming back so strong on this event, and they are just shining so far. Gorgeous double layout. You can't undo the mistakes of the previous routines, but you can do everything within your power to make the best of this experience, and they're doing just that.
And at this moment, the 10s are coming in for Christine Pang Lee, a career high. Kathy, you were hoping the judges would reward her for her superb performance. How about that? So 2 10s tonight on the beam, one for Maggie Nichols and one for Christine Peng Peng Lee.
Kiana finishing up with the crowd going crazy over the score, as they should. And Caitlin Ohashi, the only gymnast here who could have outdone Peng Peng Lee, not outdone, equaled by doing some crazy difficulty, but she turned her ankle the day after regionals, had to change her routine around because the very difficult element that she does just cannot be done on her ankle.
UCLA in 4th place in the team competition. Oklahoma, a strong lead of almost a half a point.
That handspring layout step up all the way through to the dismount. Absolute perfection in that routine. Beautiful job by UCLA.
What a rotation for the Bruins there. There were question marks. Even Val Condos Field gave us the impression, well, I'm not sure what we got left for today. And they've been impressive, Kathy.
They've done exactly what they needed to do. Their 2 events, bars and beam, where they are so masterful, so superb, and able to score high, they did just that.
And Laura is with Miss Val right now.
All right, thank you so much, Bart and Coach. A situation where Peng Peng Lee is rewarded for the risks that she takes. You're saying finally for that perfect 10.
Yeah, finally. It's, it's so exciting for her. It's so exciting for any athlete that really is going to take the risk to be rewarded for it.
Okay, and you made a last-minute lineup change on beam, putting Hallie Mosette in there. It pays off. What was your thought process behind that?
Well, she fell at Pac-12. She fell last night, and I just felt like Sonia's rock solid, but sometimes you just have to have faith, especially in a senior. When they look you in the eye and they go, I know I can do it. And then it just says a lot to the team when you take that leap of faith for someone.
You head into a bye now, but then we'll see you on floor. This team can have some fun on floor. What's your hope for them?
They're going to have fun, and we're going to close it out with a massive floor party.
Love it. Thanks.
Thank you.
Bart.
Valerie Condos Field in her 27th year at UCLA. And what a deserved moment for this young lady, Christine Peng Peng Lee, the 5th 10 in NCAA championship history. On the beam. Here are the scores after the 4th rotation. Based on team averages, Oklahoma, Florida, LSU, UCLA, Alabama, Utah, Alabama, the teams in the Super 6 final. Florida had an impressive round in that rotation on the vault, Kathy.
It was great to see them go for big vaults. Kennedy Baker thinking about the stick a little early, but it still paid off. Judges loved it. Rachel Slocum with her trademark pike front half and little tuck jump there at the end. Alex McMurtry was near perfect again with a very difficult double twist. But wow, the highlight of the rotation to see Peng Peng Lee take the risk, do incredible difficulty. So masterful on this event. Gets rewarded with a 10.0, as Coach Val Condos Field said, finally. And Caitlin Ohashi, always so perfect on this event. Working around a sprained ankle, but came up with a big score as well, 9.95.
This week, our Sunday night baseball game, presented by Taco Bell, is the Cardinals and the Yankees at the stadium. Our coverage begins at 7 p.m. Eastern on ESPN with Baseball Tonight, Sunday Night Countdown, and is also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. When we come back to St. Louis, the leading team, the Oklahoma Sooners, will take to the floor.
Winning, pride, passion, and purpose, and all heart.
Dedication, hard work, desire, passion. The person or the team who works the hardest, puts in the most time.
We know every landing counts, and if you have a mistake, you recover, you bounce back.
The champion is someone who has a goal in mind and doesn't stop until they achieve it.
Oh, well, as a gymnast who competed many, many years through the ups and downs, and now as the mother of a collegiate athlete, I love hearing that, because a champion is so much more than the score or the placement or winning. There's so much involved.
Well said, Kathy. Okay, in this rotation, Alabama's on the vault, LSU on the bars, Utah goes to the beam, and Oklahoma, the leaders, will be on the floor.
Very solid start on the vault for Alabama, and Shea Zamardi will lead off for LSU on the bars. Very clean routine for their opening set. It's all about rhythm here. So much training has already taken place. They are so ready to hit routines. It's getting in the rhythm and letting it happen. Very nice routine. Not quite a stick on the landing, but a great job.
We were anticipating perhaps a showdown between Oklahoma and LSU. LSU 0.6 of a point behind Oklahoma right now at this point in the competition. For more, here's Laura.
Yeah, so Bart, LSU did have a chance to reset during the bye, and that's exactly what they did with a spirited speech from Associate Head Coach Jay Clark, telling them, hey, we didn't start how we wanted to, but we can still control the way we finish, and I know this team has the fight to do that. These girls came out with renewed energy, they say, and they're ready to go for this bars rotation.
Thank you, Laura. There is Jay Clark, the Associate Head Coach, and he, as we have mentioned before, has been a game changer for Dee Bro and the LSU Tigers. Former standout coach for many of the national championship teams at Georgia, along with Suzanne Yachman, but what a contributor he has been for LSU.
Abby Armbrecht for Alabama on vault. What a great vault for this young lady. Good landing. Really excellent work so far. Winter Childers scored a 9.825 before her. Off to a great start here.
Maya Hambrick on bars now. The score for Shea Zamardi, 9.8375.
Nice start. Already hit the handstand. Nice release move. Full pirouette and a little short on the bail to handstand, but perfect form and technique. Might have been a tad short on that final handstand. Let's see if she can get the stick. On the half in, half out, not quite. We saw so many stuck landings from LSU during the semifinals. They really had the meat of their lives there. They're doing great gymnastics. I don't want to minimize how well they are performing. They're just not hitting everything perfectly.
If they're going to get back in it, they're going to have to do it on bars, and that is their lowest ranked event of all four. They're superb on vault and floor, so a clutch moment now for the LSU Tigers on bars. Kiana Winston for Alabama on the beam. Excuse me, vault.
Big breath before she ran down. Oh, piped down a little bit on that Yurchenko full.
Abby Armbrecht before her had a 9.85. Natalie Brown for the Oklahoma Sooners on the floor. Well, the other day in the semifinal, Natalie Brown, from our perspective, looked like she stayed in bounds, but the judges took the 1/10 of a point deduction, and for some reason I have no understanding whatsoever of, at the national championships, you're not allowed to contest a line call like
and
that.
It was clear. She was inbound. She never stepped over the line, but they don't allow video review at these championships. That, I think, could change in the future, I hope, because it's black and white. Nice front double twist.
Even more interestingly, Kathy, you can contest a score in the regular season, but not at the championship meet. So that's a rule that needs to be reviewed, certainly, because you'd hate to the championship come down to a line call.
That
stayed in a bounds again.
Same tumbling pass. Do you see how close she lands to the line, but does not step over?
Charity Jones led them off with a 9.875. She has been very solid in those leadoff spots for the Sooners.
Such a unique style. Dramatic, balletic. She's got such pretty feet, nice form. And a great landing for the final tumbling run. Great way to start this rotation for Oklahoma, and they are thrilled. I can see them jumping up and down over here in the corner.
And the fans are in force here for the Sooners here in St. Louis. There are 6 seniors on the team, so a lot of confidence in seniority. A moment ago on the bars for LSU, Ruby Harrell.
Has a very exciting combination right off the top here. Toe and Chaposh half, jams right back through, perfect. That's the best I've seen her do that combination yet this season. Wow, went hard for that handstand, almost overbalanced. And then she also does a single bar release move, which really upgrades this routine. Excellent job by Ruby Harrell. That's the routine she's been looking for.
9.85 was the score for Maya Hambrick before her. Shea Zamardi had a 9.8375. Kennedy Edney now on the bars for LSU.
What a first national championship this young lady is having. Perfect straight body on the double layout. A short and sweet bar routine.
9.825 was the score for Ruby Harrell there. The NCAA Championships coverage continues with the NCAA Lacrosse Championship. Catch the NCAA Lacrosse Selection Special at 9 on May 7th to find out who will make the field of 16. For more information on the 90 NCAA Championships, go on to ncaa.com.
Nikki Guerrero doing a 1.5 twist for Alabama. They're doing a nice job over at Alabama on the vault.
Katie Bailey, the high score there, along with Abby Ambrecht for Alabama on the vault. Both of them had 9.85s.
Nice to see the smiles on their faces. It's got to feel good to turn things around at this point in the competition.
Sarah Finnegan now on the bars for LSU. Kennedy Edney a 9.9.
Perfect distance from the bar on that release move. Beautiful form. Nice transition to the low bar. Nice final handstand. See if she can get the landing here. Double layout. Almost, just a little half hop backwards.
He was one of 6 athletes that shared the championship that was determined in yesterday's semifinal, so she's a national champion on this event. 3 national champions for LSU this year. Michaela Skinner set to go on the beam for Utah. See her score in the semifinal. Impressive 9.9125. Their first performer, Maddie Stover, one of the co-captains, had a 9.8375. McKenna Merrill at 9.8125. And you see that 9.85 for Missy Reinstatler.
Doing excellent work here on balance beam. We remarked during the semifinals how wonderful it was to see them have such a great rotation on that event. It was the event that kept them out of the Super 6 finals. Look how tough she is. She is just so mentally strong, so competitive. Marks every single position to really show off just how on point she is with her skills.
At the same time, Lexi Priestman on the bars for LSU.
Excellent work on the uneven bars, but great swing, big swing, and a giant double layout. A little too much rotation, had to hop back, but a nice job.
Coming after Sarah Finnegan's 9.9, same with Kennedy Edney over there.
Look at that, straddle jump right into a tuck back. She does a little more difficulty than many of the other gymnasts on this event. Nice to see her take the risk.
She is so ridiculously explosive.
Yeah, it looks easy too. She also does a double back. Does it well. Oh, not quite a stick, but so close. Just move that 1 foot back behind the others. That'll be a little step.
First tumbling pass for Chase Capp for the Sooners.
I tell you what, it's hard not to recognize the fact that LSU lost their landings. Oklahoma found theirs. They're really controlling every single landing.
It's almost the opposite of the semifinal where LSU stuck every landing and Oklahoma left a lot of tenths a point on the table. They're doing completely the opposite today. Oklahoma sticking everything. Coming into this performance, Brenna Dowell had a 9.9, Natalie Brown a season-high 9.9, Charity Jones had a 9.875.
What a wonderful piece of choreography this entire performance is. Very dramatic, theatrical, perfectly choreographed to the music. And to show off her strengths, her ability to perform. Just wonderful. Well done.
It's an emotional night for many of these senior student athletes like Chase Capps. Not only is this a culmination of their season, but for many of these athletes, it's a culmination of their careers. Speaking of seniors, here's Bailey Rowe from Utah.
She has certainly been at the heart of Utah gymnastics. Provided so much leadership, so much spark, really, for the success they've had. Getting back to these Super 6 finals. They're really keeping the momentum going, too, on this event. It's almost like they're handing, oh no, just as I speak too soon. I just had such confidence, such faith watching them. I didn't see that coming.
Well, they did have a tough start to the season this year. They lost all-around outstanding athletes, Sabrina Schwab, to a knee injury, and then 2 to 3 event person, Kim Tesson, had an ankle injury, so they don't quite have the depth that they've had in the past, as Maggie Nichols also gets set to go for the Sooners on the floor. Chase Capp's score is in 9.9125. Sooners sitting pretty right now.
Interesting, you should say sitting pretty. This one dances pretty from the very beginning of the routine, captures your attention, demands it really.
We've been keeping track of stuck landings. Get this, Kathy. Oklahoma has stuck 23 of 24 landings today. 96%. That's how on they are.
I was going to say it'd be easier to count the ones they didn't stick. 1. This is mesmerizing. Watch the position in these leaps. Just extreme, the full split. An absolute perfect smile to go with it.
What a lovely moment for the freshman from Minnesota. She's had a bone bruise since about the midpoint of the season, so they've had to manage how many landings she can take. But she has delivered here, and of course she got a 10 on the beam in the last rotation.
And Bart, as we watch her tumbling again, what's really cool about this gymnast, so exceedingly humble too. She went to her coach, KJ Kindler, and was concerned about making the lineups on each event. And KJ was like, are you kidding me? Of course you're in the lineup. Just beautiful leap. Look at this extreme position in the air. Perfect. Photographers, get your cameras out. There's your shot. And we keep counting them. Keep counting the stock landings.
And the Sooner fans here in force are feeling it. Maggie Nichols having an outstanding day. The Sooners rolling right now. A 9.95. Her score comes in. There's one final performer for the Sooners on the floor. That's A.J. Jackson. She's set to go, and this routine, completely different. Choreography, completely different music and mood, and this is what KJ Kindler does. She comes up with a variety of choreographed routines, all unique to the individual.
We might as well turn the lights out. It's day and night, the difference between the character that she portrays in this routine compared to her teammates. Look at that open position. A little bit of a bounce on that landing, I will say. So much power there. But look at this. I think this explains the tumbling. I think she's bionic.
The music is Purple Lamborghini. The choreography is supposed to be a graffiti artist sneaking around at night.
Imagine her sneaking into any room. She makes quite an entrance with the tumbling and with the explosive dance, really.
A junior from Belton, Missouri. Coach Kindler says she is in the best shape of her career right now.
Her strength and conditioning is obvious. Look at the height on the open double pike. Just an excellent routine. Only thing I saw was a little bit of bounce on that first landing, but the difficulty of her tumbling was extraordinary.
The Sooners have 4 scores, 9-9 and up, and we'll wait to see what Jackson gets. Go down to Laura. She's with Dee Dee Bro from the LSU Tigers. Trying to hang in there.
All right, thank you, Barton. Coach, after a historic semifinal performance last night, how is your team competing today?
We're not getting any momentum. Our first couple of people aren't giving us the kind of scores that we need to build into the end of the lineup. You know, going into beam, we've got to go over there and hit some pretty stellar beam sets to be able to stay in the competition.
You just spent some time with your beam lineup back there. What was your message to them about the gymnastics they need to perform there?
We end every away meet on beam. We ended regionals on beam. We finished last night on beam. Let's go out there and do our beam. Let's be the team that we are.
Right, thank you, Dee Dee.
Thank you.
Bart.
Thank you, Laura and Dee Dee. Oklahoma rolling on the floor. 5 scores, 9-9 or better in the 5th rotation. LSU's last chance when we come back to St. Louis. Oklahoma Sooners, KJ Kindler.
All right, thank you, Barton. Coach, how has your team so far been able to find some of those landings that they couldn't find in semifinals last night?
It's a magical night. What can I say? They're just on. And I could tell from this morning, we had a little pep talk. And from that moment on, they were walking with swagger. So they're obviously showing it out here tonight.
What did you say in that pep talk?
Oh, I can't repeat it.
All right, we'll leave it to mystery, Bart.
Oh, now I'm dying to know.
Oh,
Come
no
on.
kidding. Oh, well, I'll ask her later on, perhaps. Okay. Well, the Sooners are getting set to see if they can repeat. But before we get there, let's take a look at the highlights of that rotation 5, Kathy.
Well, we saw some outstanding routines. They gave up some tenths of a point on landings. The routines are there, but just not quite as on as Oklahoma is. Still spectacular gymnastics. Lexi Priestman, lovely to see this gymnast perform on this event. Great swinger. Fought for the landing, but again, couldn't quite get it. Oklahoma, though, what can you say about them? They are so on, and as KJ Kindler said, they have earned the right to walk with a little bit of swagger. They are just feeling everything perfectly and executing it. Maggie Nichols, what a fabulous gymnast this is. Her tumbling, her dance, just spot on. And I've run out of adjectives for AJ Jackson. This was so much fun to watch the routine, to show off the character, the theme of the routine, and then finish with such explosive tumbling. Remarkable.
Tonight after Jazz Clippers on ESPN, don't miss Sports Center at night. With Max and the coach, they'll have full breakdowns of all the NBA and NHL playoff games, MLB's best, and everything else. Sports Center at night also streaming live on the ESPN app and Watch ESPN. So when we come back to St. Louis, Oklahoma on a roll, can anybody catch them in the final rotation? We'll find out. Alabama have completed their competitions, so essentially they're the leaders in the clubhouse. You see their scores. The 4 teams on the floor now: Oklahoma, Florida, LSU, and UCLA in this 6th and final rotation. Oklahoma's on the ball, Florida's on the bars, LSU goes to the beam, and UCLA will party on the floor.
Alicia Bourne already off to her start on uneven bars, hitting every single handstand. Florida has to be perfect here.
Alex Marks sets Oklahoma running with the first vault. 1 down. Erin McAdeg in your low left corner, leading off for LSU on the beam.
We sat in awe as we watched LSU in the semifinals just knock out routine after routine, near perfection. Erin has a beautifully performed routine typically. Shows such poise, very precise, very deliberate with her movement on beam. She's gotten this team off to great starts so many times. Loves this lead-off position, truly embraces the pressure that it brings, and seldom ever falters with that responsibility. Here's her series, back handspring, but a beautiful floaty layout step out. And a kiss to her teammates over there. Beautiful. Nice job.
Great start for LSU on the beam here in the 6th and final rotation. There's Dee Dee Bro, the Dean of Coaches in the SEC, trying to rally here for their shot as a championship. However, Oklahoma looks to be undeniable. Chase Capps on the vault now.
She can be so perfect with this full, and it was perfect in the air. They'll have to take a deduction for the landing, but the execution of the vault was so nice.
Alex Marks led them off with a 9.85. A moment ago for the bars for Florida, Megan Chant.
Oh no, you could see she just really got ahead of herself, rushed, and missed the timing for that release move.
Former Canadian national team member. She's following Alicia Bourne, who got them off to a good start with a 9.85. And remember, Florida is second behind Oklahoma in terms of the running team scores coming into this rotation.
And so far, Florida has been able to handle the pressure of missing a routine in a rotation, coming back strong.
Jade Degovea.
A 1.5 twist. Not a perfect landing, but a 10-0 start value. That'll help keep that score up in a high range.
First 2 scores for the Sooners, both 9.85. Score in for McAdeg on LSU's beam, a 9.9125. This brings up the second performer, Maya Hambrick. And Kathy, I know you've always raved about this 1-2 start for LSU on beam. They need it.
It's a fantastic start to any beam rotation. I know any team would love to have this dynamic duo. Love that hitch kick into the aerial cartwheel.
Shogawi for Florida on the bars.
A lot of pressure here on this get back on track routine. She can handle it. There's nice bar skills throughout this routine. Nice toe on, toe off. To a pack salto down to low.
Score for Megan Chant before her was a 9-1-8-7-5. So they need a hit here, Florida does.
That is exactly what Florida needed in that instant moment. Perfect for them. Maya Hambrick finishing up a fantastic balance beam routine. Yes, and a stuck landing. Dee Bro jumped off the ground for that one. Well done.
A moment ago for the Sooners, Brenna Dowell on the vault coming off of Jade Dagobea's 9-8-3-7-5.
She does a 1.5 twist as well. One of the teams that does the most of these 10-0 start value vaults. It's a huge advantage when you can take advantage of that extra 0.5 of a point start value.
Coming into this rotation, Oklahoma had stuck 97% of their landings. They have yet to stick a vault.
They don't need to. They certainly don't need to, but the vaults are really beautiful in the air.
This is the final rotation at the 2017 NCAA Women's Gymnastics Championship. 4 teams on the floor at the same time. Utah and Alabama in the clubhouse. They have completed their competition in this 6-team format. Kennedy Baker on the bars now for Florida. Rachel Gowie score a great 9-9.
Kennedy can do a great routine. She missed her dismount in semifinals, so we'll be holding her breath when she gets to that part of the routine. Important not to get ahead of herself, though. Hit every handstand, every skill. Here it is, the double front, pulls it around,
yes.
Got it this time.
And the score in for Maya Hambrick on the beam, 9-9-5. So LSU doing a great job, and that brings up Sydney Ewing.
Sydney does so much difficulty in her routine. Back handspring layout, step out. I could see the nerves before she went into it. It's so hard not to want it too much.
Just a moment ago, A.J. Jackson on the vault.
Another powerful 1.5 twist by Oklahoma. It's a big one and a great one. Look at the landing she got.
And
wow.
Guess what, Kathy? We're working on the math here, but it looks like if Jackson can clinch the meet for the Sooners with a score of 9-6-7-5 or better, and that's even before Maggie Nichols goes in the final spot.
Did you see that vault? I think she's done it.
And her score is in. It's a 9-9-5.
Sydney Ewing doing a great job with this routine. Had one little balance issue. Fought like a tiger to get that landing. Good for her.
And here is Maggie Nichols capping it off for Oklahoma.
Their last 1.5 twist.
How appropriate.
And she came up with a gigantic vault and landing. Oh, so wonderful to see Maggie Nichols shining and happy. She had the devastating fall in the semifinals on beam and was just heartbroken. So to see this turnaround and knowing what a team championship means, it can undo the pain of that heartbreak.
And what a way to punctuate their performance on a stuck landing of all things for the Oklahoma Sooners, who were just spot on in the Super 6 final tonight.
Wow, did not just win it, they flew away with it.
Tears on the sidelines for the Sooners. Score for Maggie Nichols is coming in. It's a 9-9-6-2-5, so the Sooners will win their 3rd national championship and their 2nd in a row. Oklahoma not to be denied tonight in St. Louis. And their score, a 198-3875. Wins it all, the highest score in NCAA Super 6 finals ever. Alex McMurtry, they're still in a heated battle with LSU for the second spot. See what she can do on the bars for Florida. She's coming off of Amelia Hundley's 9-9.
And this is for SEC bragging rights, fighting for the top position at these national championships. This is a superb bar routine. She was almost perfect, as close as can be in the semis. Bam! Wow! I think that was even better than her routine in the semifinals. What an extraordinary championship for Alex McMurtry.
I love this double box shot because Oklahoma is celebrating. They have clinched the championship, but this baby ain't over. And Florida's still in it, and LSU's still in it, and they're hitting great routines to see who can finish second behind the undeniable Sooners today.
Where the judges are taking a lot of time with these balance beam routines.
Maddie Koshin about to go on floor for UCLA.
UCLA has had a really fantastic championships, both in the semis, doing their job here in the finals. Their lowest score is a 9.775. Would like to drop that one.
The Gators are celebrating because guess what? Alex McMurtry got her 10 tonight.
I have to say, I couldn't find a deduction in that routine.
Outstanding. What a way for Florida to finish. Madison Koshin waits to go to the floor for UCLA. And LSU is still performing superbly on the beam in this final rotation. Kennedy Edney for LSU on beam just got a 9.9375. Sarah Finnegan up on your left. Madison Koshin for UCLA on your right.
Huge scores over there on the balance beam. This is a great event for LSU to finish on. And Sarah's absolutely gorgeous on the balance beam.
Maya Hambrick earlier, a 9.95. That's a career high, and she did it at the right time.
Madison Koshin continuing with their theme of dance party with UCLA. They are the dancingest team here at these championships. What a way to finish a fantastic set on balance beam. Way to go, LSU.
The meet didn't start how LSU wanted, but boy, are they finishing strong on the clutch event. They'll have one final performer, Ashley Nat, as Dee Dee Bro is giving her a few tips.
Madison Koshin finishing the floor routine. High pike double back, great landing. And that will score well for UCLA, doing a good job over there.
From the young freshman, Madison Koshin for UCLA, to the senior from LSU, Ashley Nat, 14-time All-American. The daughter of an Olympian, Joan Moore, and her father, Ray Nat, All-American at LSU. The winner of the AAI Award for the top senior student athlete. And folks, right now is the final moment in this young lady's collegiate gymnastics career. She's a senior. She helped lead her team to their SEC championship this year in fine form. They had hopes of challenging the Sooners here in Super 6. It wasn't to be. But here's an important moment for this young lady right now, Kathy.
And had they had the performances that they were able to put out there during the semifinals, it would have been a head-to-head battle. We know that. It wasn't to be, but what heart they are showing to finish so strong. And for this gymnast, her final performance of her collegiate career, so special to this program, to the coach. Dee Bro has even said everyone should have the privilege of coaching someone like Ashley Knapp.
Talk about what's happened to LSU this year. They average more than 10,000 people at every meet. They have $1 million donors. They have a new nearly 40,000 square foot facility on campus. There's a lot of things to be positive about LSU. I know they'll be disappointed they're not going to win the national championship, but a lot of things looking good in Baton Rouge for this team.
Such beautiful composure in this routine. They described what being a champion is, and it's so much more than just winning, and it's being extraordinary, being at your best when things are, and they're certainly not at their worst, but when things haven't gone as planned and you can still dig deep and be your absolute best. As you go out, finish off your collegiate career with such beauty and such perfection, such heart. Well done.
And emotional tonight. Kathy, I know you're feeling it. Here's a young lady who just capped off her collegiate career, her mom and dad in the stands.
And for all the seniors here in these championships, I feel the same feeling for all of them. I know how hard they all work. I know how much heart and soul and effort they put into it from the time they were little girls.
If she can get a 9.925, LSU can finish second to the Oklahoma Sooners. We're watching for the scores now. A second place finish would match the all-time high for LSU. And although it wouldn't be the championship, it would be a lovely fitting for a superb, historic season for the Tigers. Here's the score coming in now, and it's a 9.95. LSU will end up second on a clutch performance from that superb senior student athlete, Ashley Knapp. What a night. Let's go down to Laura Rutledge.
Bart, when Ashley Knapp left the beam and went over to her team, there were a lot of sad faces. They were all crying. She said, no, wait a second. We have so much to be proud of. She told them she wants to see those frowns turned upside down. They're still emotional. But then as soon as they realized that they were in a great spot here, they all started to cheer. Really neat moment from their senior leader.
Thank you, Laura. And in fact, on that rotation, 3 career highs. Maya Hambrick had a 9.95, Sarah Finnegan 9.975, and Ashley Knapp a 9.95. Guess what? LSU's score on beam is a new NCAA championship record. They even beat Oklahoma on the beam in the final rotation. All the teams on the sideline posing for photos. There's one athlete yet to go, and we've often talked about Miss Val and the head coach at UCLA creating these party-style routines. Here's a chance for us to enjoy Hallie Mosette, who's always fun here.
I love it when a routine rises to the level of performance, and this one truly does. Yes, she shows off great tumbling, but more than that, she just turns on and lights up the crowd. fun as it can be. I mean, if you don't want to get up and dance. All of the teams are cheering for her. This is so great to see. I'm looking around the arena. Every team.
How lovely, the senior from Los Angeles.
That's appropriate. Nice routine to finish these championships with.
And what
Walk
a
it
way
off.
for this young lady to cap off her outstanding career as a UCLA Bruin as well, Hallie Mosette. But the championship trophy tonight will be hoisted by the Oklahoma Sooners. They repeat as national champions, their third title in school history, but they go back to back tonight. Oklahoma stuck 31 of 36 landings, 86%. Their average score of 9.9194 was ridiculous, and an championship record of 198.3875 for a convincing win for the Oklahoma Sooners here in St. Louis. So it's Oklahoma, LSU, Florida, the top three, UCLA, Utah, and Alabama, the Super Six teams. Your thoughts, Kathy Johnson-Clark? It's such an emotional night.
I feel such emotion for the seniors, for all of these teams who poured everything into these championships. I know that there were huge dreams that didn't quite come to fruition, but you can't ask for more from athletes.
Let's go to Laura Rutledge with the winning team.
All right, thank you so much, Barton. Incredible situation for you guys. Maggie, let's start with you. You had a fall in semifinals on beam. Then you changed your beam routine around a little bit, end up with a perfect 10. How would you describe the way that worked out for you?
Well, today I just wanted to go in and nail my routine, so we decided to take the front out, and I went up there and I wasn't even nervous and nailed my routine and got a 10.0, so I was just doing it for the team.
You've dealt with some disappointment in your gymnastics career, missing out on an Olympic chance in Rio, but now coming to college and you're a national champion. How did those hardships shape you into the gymnast that you are today?
They just made me a stronger person, honestly. Going through those, I just got stronger, and coming here has changed my whole perspective on gymnastics. I fell in love with the sport again, and I'm just loving every minute of it here.
All right, let's bring in Chase here. And Chase, you said that the goal for this team was to win that third national championship. Now you've done it. How would you describe the moment when you figured out that you had done it right after vault?
It was unreal. The team started jumping and we were all dancing and screaming. I don't think the screaming has stopped yet. So, I mean, we're all just so elated.
Yeah, as a senior on this team, you experienced a national championship before. What would you say about the differences in this team and the way that you were able to accomplish this with them?
Every team is different. We have a lot of different people on this team comparatively to the other years, but this team is definitely an undeniable bond where our team chemistry is incredible, and what we did today definitely shows that.
And what was it like having your final performances of your gymnastics career on this stage tonight?
It was incredible. I have no words. It's still surreal, and I can't say anything.
KJ, let's bring you in. You see the emotion from your senior here and what she's contributed to this team. What does that mean to you now winning another national championship?
This young woman has done so much for our team. What an amazing example in our entire senior class. We have 6 seniors, and they totally led this team to this moment. Very proud.
You talked about this night being magical as you headed into that final rotation. What do you think led to the magic?
Well, this morning we had a pep talk, and the theme was end on empty. Pour everything out of yourself, your emotion, your physical abilities, your mental abilities, everything out, and they did it. There's not a drop left.
What does it mean to this program to now have 3 national championships and to do it for the first time back-to-back?
It's amazing, and I do think it's very difficult to win back-to-back. We had a lot of pressure in the past thinking about trying to win 2 in a row, and this year was that same situation, but we were able to conquer it. I'm really proud.
All right, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Bart, now we know what that mystery pep talk was.
End on empty. Well, I think I'm ending on empty as well. Thank you, Laura. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners. We'll be back to St. Louis to wrap up the 2017 National Championship when we come back. And we're back in St. Louis to wrap this baby up. What a thrilling season. Oklahoma champions. They repeat. They earn their third title, their second in a row. And that score, 198-3875, an NCAA championship record. LSU second, Florida third, UCLA, Utah, and Alabama, the Super Six teams in the U.S. Super Six final. Let's take a look at the Capital One Cup standings update as teams compete for a combined $400,000 scholarship donation from Capital One. Hi, everybody. I'm Bart Connor along with Kathy Johnson-Clark, and what a thrilling night. You know, Kathy, going back to the first week of the season, January the 6th, here we are now. I'd like to hear your thoughts because this was a very powerful and emotional night on many levels for many athletes.
I have so many thoughts. Yes, Oklahoma did end on empty. They poured everything into it. They were superb, and it was magical. They will remember it for the rest of their lives. But I love the battle for second and third because you don't lose gold. You win silver. You win bronze. That's what champions do. They fight like crazy for that. And I love to see the pride, the heart, the love. Every team out there has something to be proud of. I know that some faltered, but oh man, it was wonderful to see.
And women's collegiate gymnastics is on the rise. Sold out crowds, lots of television coverage. What a thrilling season, and we were glad to bring it to you. Congratulations to the Oklahoma Sooners on a record-setting championship, the 2017 NCAA Women's Gymnastics title. For those of you who want to watch the trophy presentation, you can see it on ESPN3. For Kathy Johnson-Clark, Laura Rutledge, I'm Bart Connor saying so long from St. Louis.
Finishing in sixth place with a score of 196, Alabama. In fifth place with a score of 196.5875, Utah. Placing fourth with a score of 197.2625, UCLA. the 2017 NCAA Women's Gymnastics National Champions with a score of 198.3875, the Sooners from the University of Oklahoma. Another hand for this year's Super Six and your 2017 national champion, the Oklahoma Sooners. Attendance at this year's National Collegiate Women's Gymnastics Championship. We'll see you here in St. Louis again next year. Have a good night, and please drive home safely.
Because I'm